What's up guys, it's Spiderwolf back for another JJKPhantomparade video. So today we're going to be going over the brand new Yuji. Before we get started though, I'd greatly appreciate it because like, comment, subscribe would really help me out trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. But like I was saying in the last couple of videos, I'll take whatever I can get. Anyways, let's get right into this. So as you guys can see, got a brand new Yuji and a new recollection bit. To make this quick and easy for any of you guys who want a quick and easy answer of should you summon, to be honest, it's going to be a simple answer as: do you have Red Toji? If you do, or if you have Red Yuta, or if you have Red Nobara, then you could probably skip this Itadori. However, if you don't have any of these characters, then you might want to consider him, but at the same time, we're going to be getting a way better Red DPS character very soon. So to make things short, no, to be honest, not really. Yuji's like on the very low tier of like all the anniversary units that JP has gone so far, which we're getting as part of our first anniversary. So yeah, overall, not really worth summoning for. His recollection bit is good, but in the next video, or the video that might be before this, for Toji, that banner is a bit more worth summoning for. But keep in mind, you are getting 2 free tendrils for Yuji's banner, so you may be able to get them for free, so keep that in mind. Anyways, let's go into why he's supposedly not as desirable, but of course also really quick, recollection bit here, or not recollection, but the standard banner is getting an update, so it's confirmed. I did cover this in my other video as well, so make sure you look at that as well for all the new content we're getting for this week basically. But yeah, I talked about this video and it is confirmed here. So we're getting all these characters. We're getting Mai, Inumaki, Nobara, a bunch of great characters, Megumi Nobara, great green DPS, also Muda, and then both Toges are pretty good. Mai's a really good support. Also, some of these other recollections are really good. Sukana is really good for blue DPS. And then the trio down here with Yuji, Nobara, Megumi is also pretty good. I forgot what it does exactly, but that one's also pretty good as well. And then, of course, the one in the middle is for like domain expansion Gojo's recollection bit, which is also really good. Anyways, I just wanted to cover that really quickly. And of course, also, there it is. 10 free for logging in, and then another 20 for a free code we're going to be getting relatively soon. So basically, when you log in the game, you'll be able to get that. Anyways, sorry about that. Let's now actually get right into what Yuji does, right? Like, why exactly are people considering him not a character that is really worth pulling for and going out of your way for, right? So we know he's a red DPS. He's mainly physical, which makes sense. Characteristic: resistant to poison and soul damage, able to soul attack, so that's pretty cool. And of course, he has Black Flash. Going in, he has a regular skill here, Kick. And so I think it's also called, or no, my bad, that's called, I read it wrong. Skill 1, Manji Kick, Nimble Style. Deals 160.9 melee physical damage to one enemy, Black Flash rate low. Taunt on the selected enemy for 1 turn. Increase the chance of evasion, Nimble, so that's what it's called. It's called Nimble, but basically chance to evade, to 40% for 1 turn. At level 10, it's going to be 200 melee physical damage. Alright, a little bit distracted, so I'm going to say this just in case, but I think I might have already said it. But yeah, basically skill level 10, you deal 200 melee physical damage, and then that's basically one thing that changes at level 10 from level 1. But there's going to be a change skill version, which we go change skill 1. Now it's going to be this new version here. So in Ferocious Style, change the skill into Punch. So you deal level 1 177 melee physical damage to one enemy for 2 hits, Black Flash rate medium, which before it was low. And then if on cursed energy is 20 or more, cursed energy cost is 20. Then you increase your own physical stat and damage reduction by 9.7% for 3 turns, which isn't too bad. It's actually not too bad. But you do need it to be at least 20 or higher to get this little buff here, damage reduction. But at level 10, oh man, that's only level 1, right? At level 10, now you're doing 300 melee physical damage. Yeah, as I was saying, at level 10 you deal 300 melee physical damage to one enemy. So that basically it's up to 300. And then now if you have 20 or more cursed energy, now you're getting a 30% or not, my bad, 20% physical and damage reduction stat. So that's pretty cool, so much better, right? So that shouldn't be too difficult to achieve, but that's pretty nice. Anyways, going on, also just in case you guys are curious, because maybe you guys aren't going to level this up to level 10 right away, at level 9 it's going to be 286, and then 18.9, which is still pretty good for physical damage buff, or physical taijutsu stat buff, and then also damage reduction. For skill 2 here, Assault Nimble Style, a level 1 for the regular version. It costs 15 cursed energy. You're dealing 343 melee physical damage to one enemy, 2 hits, Black Flash rate low, so very similar to skill 1. You also taunt the enemy as well, which I think the original one did also taunt. Yeah, it did. So skill 1 does taunt, and then skill 2 also has a taunt as well, which is pretty interesting. So 2 skills already with that have taunt. Then you also increase the chance of evasion nimble to 30% for 1 turn. And then you decrease all allies damage received by 8.1% for 3 turns. It does say increase the chance of evasion to 30%. So I'm wondering if, because this one up here says increases the chance of evasion to 40%, and then this one says increases the chance of I don't know what. I thought it was fucking I don't know why, but I thought it was just saying like it was upgrading, like if it was adding on to, but no, I think it's just saying like this is the amount it gives. My bad, guys. I got a little bit confused there. Anyways, you also decrease all allies damage received by 8.1% for 3 turns. And then at level 10, now it's going to be 510 melee physical damage to 1 enemy. Taunt's still there. The chance to evade is still 30%, but now you're decreasing all allies damage received by 10% for 3 turns, which is pretty cool. Now the skill change version is going to now cost 30 cursed energy, and then at level 1 in ferocious style, change the skill into divergent fist. So you're dealing 160 melee physical damage to 1 enemy for 3 hits. Black flash will not occur, so no guaranteed black flash on this one or at all. And then you increase your own break damage by 150% for 1 turn 1 time. So this is going to be great for breaking, I'm assuming. And then you deal an additional 167 melee physical damage to the selected enemy with a critical hit. Black flash will not occur, which I mean, critical hit, black flash is basically the same thing. So you're still kind of getting it, but it's not considered black flash. And then you're disrupting the selected enemy's special 2 turns for 1 time at a 25% chance at level 1. At level 10, now you're going to be dealing 210 melee physical damage to 1 enemy. Break damage is still going to be the same. Now you're dealing an additional 240% physical damage to 1 enemy with crits. And then the disrupt is still 25% chance. So basically, overall, with leveling this up, you're just getting more damage for the actual like main hits, and then that's kind of it. But that's still not too bad, I think, for the most part. Overall, you know, not too bad, I'd say. Losing the damage reduction for the whole team does kind of suck, because I'm sure this is more of a damage focused with like a bit of disruption potentially. But this is definitely more of like a damaging version, right? It looks like more so when you go into this ferocious style, you're more so focused on dealing and outputting more damage rather than doing too much survival stuff, right? Granted, skill 1 does have a little bit of survival for Itadori himself. And then level 9, it's going to be 205 melee physical and then an additional 232 melee physical. So I wonder if this is technically going to be like 4 hits, because it does say you deal 205 melee physical, which is 3 hits, and then it says you also deal an additional 232 melee physical damage. So I wonder if that's going to be like technically 3 hits right there. I mean 4 hits right there. Not too sure on that one. Anyway, skill 3 here, Scurry Combo Strike Nimble Style. 15 or level 1, it costs 15 cursed energy. And this is going to deal 343 melee physical damage to 1 enemy for 3 hits. Black flash rate low. You increase your own physical stat by 9.7% for 3 turns, and then you increase your own ultimate gauge charging rate by 9.7 for 3 turns, which is pretty cool. So that way you can get your ultimate a little bit faster, right? At level 10, it's going to be 510 physical melee damage, and then it's going to be 20% physical stat buff, and then 20% ultimate gauge charging rate, which is pretty cool. Also for 3 turns, which is also quite handy because you can kind of stack that up. So that's really nice. And then at level 9, just in case you guys are curious as well, for this version, it's going to be 491 melee, and then 18.9 physical damage stat buff, and then 18.9 ultimate gauge charge rate. For the upgraded version here, with the ferocious style, it's going to now be increased to 30 curse energy at level 1. It's going to be called now Entrusted Strike, and you're dealing 528.7 melee physical damage to 1 enemy. Black flash rate high, so this one's going to have a high black flash rate, and then you increase your own physical damage by 9.7 for 3 turns. At level 10, it's going to be 700 melee physical damage, and then 20% physical stat buff, which, I'm not going to lie, these stat buffs are a little bit on the low side, but I guess it's fine because he's mainly a DPS character, but still, I feel like the stats could have been like a slightly higher. But yeah, it's a little bit low, but then again, he does have a couple of these, so technically they will stack up. Like you got 20% here. This one also has, is it on the regular one? No, this is just damagers. I could have sworn this one also had it. Oh, here we go. So I was getting mixed up with skill. Yeah, so skill 1 also has it. You know, if we do it level 10, this one increases physical stat by, or taijutsu stat by 20% for 3 turns. You can stack this one up as well, but at the same time, they kind of agree the same anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You're still technically getting the same amount, no matter what. So I feel like skill 3 could have been like maybe 50%, you know, just saying. Yeah, I think 50% would have been fine. And then at level 9, because of curious, it's going to be 681 melee physical and then 18.9 physical stat. So overall, 2 skills to give him physical stat for 3 turns, and then you get some ultimate gauge, some damage reduction, also some damage reduction for the whole team. Not a lot, but a little bit, so not too bad overall. Definitely has a lot of stuff going on, so I do like that. Now going to its ultimate here, Black Flash. So at level 1, you're dealing, let's see, so grants guaranteed hit status 1 time, so he's guaranteed to hit some, I'm guessing if anyone has like a domain or whatever, domain expansion where they like have like the evasion or whatever, he'll basically go through that, so that's really cool. And then you're dealing 710 melee physical damage to 1 enemy with Black Flash counter, or Black Flash and then you counter bypass, which I'm not too sure what that is. Then you also enhance skill multiplier based off the amount of cursed energy enhancement. Or let's see, so enhances skill multiplier based on the amount of cursed energy enhancement. And then with 250 cursed energy spent and skill at level 10, your maximum damage output is 2100 damage, or 2100%. Disrupt the selected enemy special 2 turns at a 25% chance for 1 time. You get, let's see, grants guaranteed exorcism status for 5 turns. Reset the amount of cursed energy enhancement. Guaranteed exorcism status. Receives both effects of cursed energy enhancement and evasion enhancement regardless of style, and able to switch style every turn. That's pretty interesting. So basically you can kind of swap between nimble style and then this ferocious style once you do the ultimate, so you can kind of swap back and forth. It's like, oh hey, maybe for this turn I want the, I actually want skill, actually skill 1 kind of sucks. Let's see, what's a better example? Oh yeah, I guess maybe, yeah, here we go, skill 2 would be better. So maybe it's like, oh, maybe for 1 turn, you know, you pop the ultimate, it's like, oh hey, you know what, I actually want to put a little bit more damage reduction for my whole team, let me swap it to nimble style, and then the next turn be like, you know what, I'm gonna swap back to ferocious style and then go with skill 3 or something like that, right? As like a little example. So that's pretty cool. Okay, also I just realized what counter bypass means. I think it literally just means like if the enemy has a counter, it literally just like punches through that, so like nothing's gonna stop this Itadori from like hitting you, which is kind of cool, and also very similar to how it is in the anime when he did it, because like literally like Mahito, like no matter what, Itadori was like literally slamming his fist right through, and nothing was stopping him pretty much from like beating up Mahito. So that's pretty cool. At level 10 now, it's gonna be the only thing you get basically is just like a higher damage multiplier, which as it says here, your max is going to be 2100 with skill level 10, and if you have 250 cursed energy that you spent. So yeah, basically, but the base damage here is going to be 1050, which is still pretty high, and then of course, you know, with the max multiplier, it's just going to be really huge damage, right? So overall, I think Itadori is looking great. For his combo skill here, is going to deal 200 melee physical damage to 1 enemy, and you increase his and the allies' physical stat by 15% for 3 turns, and then the usual increase all other allies' ultimate gauge by 110. So he has a couple auto skills here. We got Sukana's Vessel, which makes sense the usual for any Itadori. At the start of battle, grant poison and soul damage resistance to self. You grant immunity to instant death effects caused by soul damage to self, so that's pretty cool. So like anything like Mahito can do, right? Evasion enhancement here in nimble style or guaranteed exorcism status, which is basically once you do the pop the ultimate, right, that you get the guaranteed exorcism status for 5 turns. And this one basically it's going to give you, so yeah, basically in nimble or in that version, because you can basically have both active, right? You let's see, grant evasion nimble chance 20% and 15 damage reduction nimble. So if you're in the nimble version basically, or guaranteed exorcism, you're going to be getting a 20% chance to evade and then a 15% damage reduction. So that's pretty cool. If evaded successfully 3 times per turn, you increase your own physical stat by 15% for 5 turns, which is quite significant, and you recover your own cursed energy by 15 regardless of cursed energy cap. So that's also really cool, so that's very strong. But it does say per turn, so there have to be multiple enemies, or the enemy would have to hit you multiple times for this to really proc. So you won't always be able to get this off, but if you are able to, that's going to be quite significant. And 5 turns is a lot of time, as well as since Itadori does want a lot of cursed energy, him getting a chance of getting 15 a couple times is really nice as well. Let's see, the next thing here, we got cursed energy enhancement. So in ferocious style or guaranteed exorcism state, so this is the different version from nimble. You accumulate the cursed energy spent by 1-to-1 ratio up to 250 cursed energy. If both statuses are activated, result in a 2-to-1 ratio. So I think it's saying if you do pop the ultimate and then you have the guaranteed exorcism and then you choose to be in the ferocious style state, because mind you, when you do get the guaranteed exorcism status here, you do receive both enhancement of, yeah, so basically you get cursed energy enhancement and then evasion enhancement, but you're also able to switch if you want to be a nimble or ferocious, right? So basically this is just saying that if you do pop the ultimate, you get the guaranteed exorcism, and then you swap to specifically the ferocious one, then you're going to be getting a 2-to-1 ratio of cursed energy spent, or I mean accumulation of cursed energy spent. So I'm going to assume that because there was I think it's with the ultimate here, where yeah. So with if you spend 250 curse energy, then you get more damage off of this ultimate, right? Yeah. So I'm assuming it's gonna be like total. So like it doesn't have to be like immediately like in one turn, right? I'm assuming it's just like accumulation. So this is gonna be really good for that, because that means that if you spend anything, right? Like you spend skill 3, which is gonna be 30. If you have the ultimate already popped, then you know you get the status here and you swap to ferocious. Then when you pop the 30 cost skill here, now you're going to be actually getting technically using 60 curse energy, but I'm assuming it's going to count it as 60, but you're not actually going to be using 60 curse energy with that ratio. Otherwise it's just going to be like if you use 30, then it's going to be 30, yada yada yada, right? But that's going to be really cool, and that's going to help you build up your black flash to hit this like max multiplier, which I'm not too sure how many turns it would take between 30 cost, 15 cost, yada yada yada, and all that. I don't think it would take too many turns, because they don't really specify like how many turns it would be, but it does say 250. So let's see. Yeah, so basically after doing some quick math, basically after if you were to do any of the skills that cost 30 curse energy, if you do those 9 times, then you would have the max damage, right? But then if you do have but then at that point, right, if you do pop the ultimate early, you might as well, so that way you can get this 2-to-1 ratio, and it would speed that process up a lot easier, so you don't have to do or rely and do as many like 30 cost curse energy skills, right? But that's basically how that would break down. So it wouldn't take too many turns, I'd imagine. Max, it would be like 9 full turns of like using anything that costs 30 curse energy. Otherwise, if you do pop the ultimate early, you do abuse the 2-to-1 ratio, it'll be a lot faster, right, overall. But really cool. So basically about 9 turns minimum that you would have to spend for 30 curse energy. But mind you, you know, you can't spam 30 curse energy every single turn for 9 turns, so technically it's going to be a little bit longer than that. You're gonna have to spend like maybe an extra turn or 2 on top of that in between those to recover at least 30 curse energy to spam it again, right? So it's going to be 9 turns minimum of spending 30 curse energy, but there's going to be extra turns on top of that to recover that curse energy. So keep that in mind, but it shouldn't take too many turns past that, right? Like I don't think it'll be 20 turns, but it might be. I don't think it would be, but you never know, right? Maybe get a little bit lucky. Anyways, the last thing here, we got Zone Outburst. When Black Flash is performed for 1 time per turn, grant Zone status for 5 turns, which is like Zone Yuji, right? Because Zone Yuji, the other one had it, but this is like an upgraded version from what it sounds like, low-key. You increase your own Black Flash count by 1. You recover your own curse energy by 5, so that's really good. And then, so yeah, another thing too that help you get your curse energy up as well, so that's going to make it a lot easier. And then reduces the effectiveness of the following debuffs by 5%, prioritizes the most recent debuff. So physical stat reduction increases physical or jutsu damage received, so these will be reduced by 5%, basically from like if you get like maybe, oh, reduces your physical stat buff by like 15%, then this will basically knock 5% off, so now it'll be 10% damage, you know, reduced. And then we also have Zone status here, so you recover your own curse energy by 5 each turn. You increase your own Black Flash rate by 30%, which is quite significant. You also increase your own physical damage by 48% up to 80% with 5 Black Flash counts, or 5 Black Flash counts. Each count increases an additional stat by 8%. So that's going to be the big physical buff right there for Itadori, so that's really cool. So at least they did give him that. But yeah, overall, I can kind of see why people are saying like he's not really worth going for, because personally, I think he's really cool, and I think he's doing like a lot of good stuff here. But I can definitely see as to why maybe he's like not as good. Because like, you know, if we go to the tier list really quick, right? I mean, Red Toji is also really good. Yuta's also really good off the bat, right? But just like the other Yuji, the yellow one, right? You kind of have to build them up to where he can be like really, really strong, right? Because like they're basically built very similarly, right? You know, like skill 1 for Yuji didn't do too much, but basically they have the more like, you know, you kind of have to build them up, and then after building up for a while, then they'll be like really, really good, right? But yeah, I mean, honestly, like as good I feel like they're both on the same level, but like I feel the red one is stronger personally overall. But at the same time, like I said, I can kind of see why people are recommending not to pull from, especially compared to the other characters coming out that are way, way, way stronger and offer more value. But I don't think he's like a bad pickup personally. I personally want him because I think he's really cool and I like Itadori, so I'm gonna be pulling for him, even if I don't really need him, because I do already have Toji, I do already have Yuta. But personally, like if I were to rate this, besides Mahito, right? Because like I'd say when Mahito comes out, he's for sure triple S best DPS, maybe even like a quadruple S tier, or if maybe we want to drop a couple characters down. But I'd say like if that's the case, because like if Toji's here, right, I feel like Yuji would replace Toji personally, is where I would personally think that would go. But then again, Toji has a lot of good stuff going for him, right? But I think Yuji's like on the same tier, if not like will replace him. But then when Mahito comes out, right, then it kind of like they'd either be on the same tier or Itadori would like step down, the red one. But yeah, overall I think he's really strong. So I'm going to personally try to get him if I don't get him with the free tickets. I hope I do. But yeah, like overall pretty strong character, but like not really needed because like the other characters are better, and we're literally getting like a way better red DPS character. At least I'm pretty sure Mahito's a DPS character. I could be wrong, but it'd be kind of weird because he's also red. But I'm pretty sure he's a red DPS character. I just know he's really good. I just don't know exactly what he does. Anyways, let's go on to the next thing. So the recollection bit here. So irreplaceable moments. So basically it's only physical focused here, and then when you do the ultimate skill, you increase your own physical stat by 70% for one turn, one time. If you're receiving a black flash count special, which Itadori can do, you increase an additional physical stat by 20% for one turn, one time, and has a 6-turn cooldown, which is very good. With one dupe, when black flash is performed, increases own black flash and critical hit rate by 10% for 3 turns. So that's going to be 40% with Itadori because he also increases black flash by 30%, so that's going to be 40%, really nice. You also fill your own ultimate gauge by 100, and then you grant black flash count special if there are none. So this is also going to help Itadori stack his stuff up. And then at MLB here, full dupes, you're going to get 75% physical stat, and then an additional 25 physical stat if you whenever you do get a black flash count special. So a lot of damage. So in total, it's going to be about 100% physical damage stat. So this is, like I said, this is a really good recollection bit for physical characters overall. Granted, some characters that won't be able to get this black flash count. It should still work, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because it does say it does give you one if there are none, so this will still literally give you that 25% physical stat no matter what anyways. But yeah, so as long as your character can do a black flash, it should still proc that, so you can still get the 100% physical stat. So yeah, really strong recollection bit, really good. And yeah, if I were to rate this though easily for the tier list, I know this video is already quite long, but if I were gonna rate this tier list and Itadori on the tier list, which I currently did for Itadori, but for the recollection bit, I would say this is easily double S, maybe even triple S recollection bit. It's really strong. I think it does the most in the game personally currently, because this one, which is pretty good, right? It's only 85. This one though can go up to 100, which is really good, right? So I don't know. Personally, I think this is like at least, for sure it's in the same tier, but I feel like it's like slightly higher because you get that extra damage. But overall, really good, really strong recollection bit overall. And then yeah, Itadori I'd say easily would be between triple S to double S tier, maybe double S tier because he's kind of like Sukuna in a way where like damage focus. But then again, like his kit is so similar to Zone Yuji that I'm like, if Zone Yuji's here, kind of in the same tier, but that's also kind of because there's no like better yellow DPS even when Sukuna comes out because he's also yellow. They're kind of on the same tier. So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel, where it's like he's good, but then there's other characters that are like better than like what Itadori does, right? So that's kind of why I feel like it's like he's like a good character, but like not good enough to where it's like Sukuna and like Yuta. I think Sukuna's pretty good, but then Yuta's just like way better, right? Kind of like that's how I would say. Itadori's like Sukuna, where he's good, but then Mahito comes out and he's like apparently like way better, right? I'm assuming, like I said, I think Mahito's a DPS character, but I'm not too sure, but I'm like fairly certain he is. Anyways, I'll talk about the timeline later a little bit in the next video for the shitty summon for Todo, because this one's already gone on for a lot longer than I meant for it to be. But yeah, overall, let's keep like, you know, to wrap things up in a nice little bow. Shitty summon for Itadori? Probably not. I would say it'd be the smart decision overall, like how it always is for any gacha. You wait it out, you do your free ticket to get him. Cool. If you don't, it is what it is. I'd say just wait till at least Mahito comes out because he's really good. The last thing though, I do want to say though, before I wrap this up, because I completely forgot, but I'll probably mention it in the Todo video, is that we're getting more characters on JP, and there's a good chance, if I'm being honest with you guys, there's a good chance we're going to be getting the Shibuya Gojo, where before he got sucked into the cube. We're probably going to be getting him. There's a good chance we're going to be getting that Gojo for New Year's, because we're going to. It looks like we're going to be getting a brand new Geto, but like not like Geto, but like, you know, we revealed who Geto actually was. We're going to be getting that character seemingly for Christmas, from what it looks like, either this week or for Christmas. And then New Year's, I'd say there's a high likelihood, because we haven't gotten a new Gojo yet, that we could see I forget what the technique he used, but that Gojo before he got sucked into the cube, there's a good chance he might come out for New Year's. I could see that happening. Or it could also be the ice guy that was with Geto at the very end of season 2. That it could also be that guy. But I'd say it's between those 2 characters are going to be coming out. But it looks like they're going to also be kind of tying into like the aftermath of like the anniversary for JP. Which they have done before, right? Like when Sukuna came out, he was literally like the bonus extra character after the anniversary, which they like to do a lot. Because you have the main anniversary characters, and then you have the bonus extra characters that are also really good, if not better, that come after the anniversary. Which they've been kind of like doing this crazy version where it's like literally like four or five characters, who knows how many, for JP anniversary, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, just keep that in mind that you might want to wait. You know, Mahito is really good, so you might just want to spend cubes for Mahito, maybe for Todo. And then just wait and see what's coming on JP, because we should be getting that not this year, but like for January, right? Anyways, all that being said, hope this video helps you guys out. Good luck with the guys' summons, and I will see y'all later. Peace and take care, everybody.